Alright, welcome to Southern California WeatherForce.com. Something was seen in the skies on your Saturday evening, and since it was a Saturday evening, everyone was out on the town, and we got a lot of pictures and videos of this event. This was said to be a UFO, wormhole, Project Bluebeam, CERN, you name it. Everyone has said it, but in reality, it was a missile launch, and I knew it right when I saw it in the sky that it was a missile launch for this very reason. Vandenberg Air Force Base often launches these kind of missiles into the area as tests. They're Minuteman missiles or Peacekeeper, sometimes even a rocket launch with a launch vehicle launching a satellite into orbit. And if it's the right twilight out there, so if it's the right light with the evening or the morning skies, you get a spectacular light refraction in the sky. And this is where we get all kinds of UFO reports into the forecast area. So we got some questions into the Southern California Weather Force. My email lit up because of this event. So what we're going to be going with right now is what it was and how I'm going to prove to you that it was that. I can't believe I even have to do that when it's pretty simple when you look at it. Now, it wasn't from Vandenberg Air Force Base from what I could see. When I saw it and all the pictures that were coming in, all the different angles is leading me to believe this came somewhere around just west of Catalina Island. Probably somewhere between San Nicolas Island and Catalina, which is right in this area right here. Now, the official report did come in about an hour or so after I did the initial prediction on where it came from, and indeed, the Navy did say it was a Trident missile launched from the USS Kentucky, somewhere offshore. And these photos pretty much prove, one from Long Beach here from Nate Parnham, pretty much shows that the missile was going at an angle to the upper right. And what that means is if it was taken from Long Beach and it wasn't going away from him, that the missile was probably not going towards land into the Channel Island region, so it was going between and just to the south of the Channel Islands. So it places the missile launched somewhere between San Nicolas Island and Catalina. Another photo from Ventura shows it's more elongated to the right, which means that it was more parallel to this observer. And a photo from San Diego crunches it right in, what it looks like that it's not moving at all. And the reason why it looks like it's not moving at all is because it's going away from the observer. Now, another question someone's saying is, missiles go up, they don't really go down. And this is wrong. This is all about perspective. It may look like it was going down for you, but it was actually going suborbital. It was an ICBM. Here's a video of the shuttle launch showing it going up, and then it looks like it's going down. But in reality, it's not. Because of the angle of the plume and the observer on the ground, it looks like it's going down. But in reality, what it's doing is going along or just above the surface of the Earth in angle. Now, it's just like when you see a plane fly overhead. You can kind of see it coming up off the horizon with the contrail, and then when you see it passing you, it looks like the contrail is going down to the horizon. In reality, the plane is not going down, it's just really level at the Earth, and it's just the way the angle perceives it. Now, why did it turn red just before it turned white, and then it spelled a blue? So red, white, and blue. That was a great display of American power, wasn't it? Now, the red is basically the light from the setting sun. Now, it's dark down here, but it doesn't mean that it is not light up there. Have you ever seen a mountain when the sun is rising? It's like a bluish hue. It's dark. There's no sunlight on the bottom of the mountain, but up at the peak, you can see the sunlight. It's very similar to what the atmosphere is. When the sun sets, it's darker down here in the lower atmosphere, but way up there at about 100 miles up, it's still light. And this is why it took a while for the exhaust to show up. So the missile was traveling basically in the darkness, and as it rose higher and higher, the red hue was the sunset light refracting along the exhaust. And that's that reddish hue that you see when the sun is setting. Now, as it kept rising further and further, the sun was rising over the Earth's horizon up there, and that made the exhaust white. Now, the blue hue was just rocket fuel chemicals. Now, it was just reacting up there and, refracting from the sunlight. It's kind of like when you see the oil on the asphalt. You see the multicolors within it. And the color of it's clear, but it has multicolors because of the way the light is shining on it. Very similar to what you saw with this rocket. Why was the rocket seen from all over the place? This question's pretty interesting, but here's your answer. The rocket was seen all over the place in the western United States simply because it was so high. Have you ever seen the International Space Station? When the International Space Station passes by, and it's about 30 degrees, which is about a third of the way up in the sky in the southeastern skies, that means that it is over Mexico City. Because the space station is so high, you could see it for many miles around it. even if it is not over you. So if it is directly above Mexico City, here in Southern California, it's about a third of the way up in the sky. And I've seen this many times before. So it's all about perspective and height. Because this was over 100 miles high, you could see it from hundreds of miles away. And that is why various photos show that it's lower in the sky in Las Vegas and Phoenix. All those areas are pretty far from Southern California, so it's lower in the sky. Whereas in Southern California, all the photos you're seeing is like halfway up in the sky or higher. Now, why did the rocket explode? Well, here's the thing. A missile's not just one object that's lofted into the air and that's it. It comes in stages. When a missile stages, it fires off another engine. Now, the atmosphere up there has less gravity than down here. So, of course, what you're seeing, that explosion, you're seeing the stage kind of fall off. Once the engine, the first stage that lifts the missile up in the air, once that fuel is spent, they have to eject that stage. And when they eject that stage, the secondary stage fires off. And so on. The secondary comes off, and the third stage fires up to lift the payload into suborbit. So that's what's happening, is what you're seeing is a staging event, and then the rocket kind of coasts there for a little bit, and then gets a boost again by its another stage. So the first stage falls off, firing the second stage. And when that second stage fires off, you see the explosion in the atmosphere. And because there's not much gravity in the upper atmosphere, it kind of has some cool effects. So it just kind of like sits there and just expands in the upper atmosphere. Whereas if it was in the lower atmosphere, it wouldn't expand that much. You know, have you ever seen a comet exploding? We've seen this back in, it's a while ago. You can see it's called Comet Holmes. It's a very similar effect. When the comet exploded, because there's no gravity in space, well, very little, of course, because of the sun, you can see it spread out over the size of the sun. Because, again, gravity is not stopping the explosion from expanding. Whereas in the upper atmosphere, there's less gravity, so the explosion just kept expanding more and more and more. Now, they were doing testing, and they're going to be doing it for a week here until November the 12th. So what we're seeing is we may see another one of these events sometime before then if they're going to do another missile test. All right, let's move on to the cold front coming into the area. Yes, we got a cold front coming through the area on a Monday. It's going to be slicing through the area. We'll get some isolated scattered showers, more shower chances in the Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo area, maybe even into the Bakersfield area, but less chance of showers in, say, Ventura County, and then more chances of showers in Orange, San Diego, and the Inland Empire area, with gusty winds in the mountain and desert areas. This is a small front, so it won't be named, and we'll get more details for you. In fact, go ahead and read the article embedded within the video link. Stay tuned to SouthernCaliforniaWeatherForce.com.